Hey guys, Deion Taylor here. So in this video, I'm going to talk about a newly announced feature that actually was just announced yesterday for Power Virtual Agents. This new feature is called Conversation Booster. And if you want to learn more about this, stick around. I'll be right back right after this. So first, kind of let me explain to you a little bit about this new Conversation Booster feature that Microsoft just released yesterday. Now, usually when a chatbot encounters a question that it doesn't know how to answer, it can only ask the user to either rephrase or it can connect them to a human agent. So now with this new Conversation Booster preview feature, you can actually connect your bot to different data sources like internal and external company websites. Now, this then allows the bot to use the content from the website to generate answers to the user's question without needing to create conversation topics or obviously spend additional development time on that, right? So this means that Power Virtual Agents can now answer questions without the need for manual configuration, right? Like creating topics. So this is super, super excited, right? Because the Conversation Booster feature also ensures that the bot's responses are filtered and moderated to adhere to Microsoft's responsible AI principles. Now, before I go on, I want you to keep in mind that this doesn't mean that makers won't have to create topics anymore in Power Virtual Agents, right? Because the way that this works is that when somebody interacts with the bot, then it first looks at all the topics to see if there's an existing topic that they can redirect the customer to. And if they can't find a topic, then it's going to use the URL that you're going to configure inside of Power Virtual Agents to generate that answer. So the first thing that I wanted to do here is kind of show you what this looks like. So as you can see, I'm here in Power Virtual Agents and I'm just going to ask it a couple of questions, right? So the first thing I'm going to ask is, what is GDPR? And I don't have a topic for that inside of this Power Virtual Agents bot. So what it does now is it's now searching the website that I configured for this. And as you can see, it's giving me back some information on that question. So the next one I'm going to ask is, I'm going to ask, who is the CEO at RSM? And here you go. It's telling me Brian Becker is the managing partner and CEO for RSM US LLP. And it even gives me a link, just like it did prior, right, to kind of show me where I can go to find that information. Now, let's now take a look to see if maybe we have any job openings. So here again, it's now telling us, okay, you can click here. Going to this link will take you to the website, the career side, whatever you want to call that. Okay, that's great. But now let's take a look and see if there's any job openings in Texas. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask and see what happens. And look at that. Now it's actually giving me 3 job openings. And you can see it already, right? It says it in here, the job, and it's looking for somebody in Dallas, Texas. And this one I checked earlier, that one is correct as well. So pretty exciting stuff. Now, again, if I go to my topics, you'll notice that these are the only topics that I have, right? There's nothing about who is the CEO of RSM. There's nothing about jobs, etc. So again, this is really where that Conversation Booster preview feature comes in. So if you go to settings and then AI capabilities, this is where you can turn this on. Now you can see here that I entered rsmus.com as the website. And there's a reason for that, because there are some restrictions, limitations, whatever you'd like to call it, that we have there. And that's why I entered rsmus.com and not www.rsm.com. So we'll go over that in a second. Now, after you choose your website, you can see here that you also need to set the content moderation as well, right? So you can set it to high, which is the default. This is going to give you fewer answers, but the responses are going to be more relevant. You can do medium, more answers, but the responses may be less relevant. And you can do the most answers, but responses can have inaccuracies. So definitely want to keep that on high. And the other thing that I also wanted to mention is that when you have this feature turned on, this boost conversational coverage preview, or boost conversation boosters, as I was calling it, you cannot publish any of these topics. So keep that in mind, right? This is just, again, a preview feature, so you can kind of play around with that a little bit, and then you can go from there. The other thing I wanted to mention is that you can only enable this for Power Virtual Agents where you're using the existing preview. So you can see here, I have my customer service bot. That's my regular chat bot that's not in a preview, but you can see here I have my updated customer service bot, and I know that's created in the current preview because it has the word preview behind it. Simple as that. All right, now let's take a look at those considerations for URLs. So you can see there's a lot here, right? First of all, it says here, the URL you provide represents the scope of content that will be used for generating responses, right? That just means that that URL is going to be used by Power Virtual Agents to find answers, right, to those questions. So some requirements on the type and structure of the URL that you can use, right? It can only have 2 levels of depths or subpaths. So you can see here, this is level 1, and then here's level 2. This one will not work because this one has 1, 2, 3, right? That's what that means. If the URL you specify redirects to another top level site, it will not be included. So if www.fabricam.com redirects to contoso.fabricam.com, you're not going to get any responses. It's also not going to generate responses from a URL that points to a website that requires authentication, right? Or that's not indexed by Bing. So if you need to sign into the website, you know, Power Virtual Agents probably doesn't have your username, your password. So that is not going to work either. Now, the next one that kind of is at the end, right? If it's not indexed by Bing, it's not going to work either. And this is related to the fact that this feature uses Bing search to get information from public websites, right? So you can see here some other information, wiki, SharePoint sites, and other types of websites that require authentication. They cannot be used. Then you also need to be aware of the following characteristics, right? The bot will generate responses from any publicly viewable content, under the URL that you specify. So also subdomains under a top level domain. So if you're using fabricam.com engines/rotary, then anything below that, so engines/rotary/dual shaft, or engines/rotary/whatever would also be used, right? But if we're looking at fabricam.com/tools, that's not following that path, so that's not going to be used. If you're using www.fabricam.com, then the bot wouldn't generate responses from content on news.fabricam.com because news is a subdomain under the top level domain fabricam.com. This is also why I actually entered in my bot rsmus.com, because any of that career information, those jobs, are posted on careers.rsm.com. So that's why I did that. So that's probably going to be a really good thing to know, right? That you don't have to put the www dot in there. There you go. So here again, if you use fabricam.com, then content from www.fabricam.com and news.fabricam.com would be used because they sit under that top level domain that I just mentioned, which is fabricam.com. All right. And then lastly, you want to make sure you can see that over here, community content and social networks can often increase the risk of more answers being rejected due to inappropriate, offensive, and malicious content. So keep that in mind as well. You probably also don't want to show websites that have comments and stuff in that, right? Because that could be picked up about Power Virtual Agents as well. All right, now back to Power Virtual Agents. One more thing that I don't think I showed you. So once you enter your website, you put in your bot content moderation, all you have to do is click save. Just give it a few minutes. You might need to refresh, and then you can start testing this stuff out. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss another video again. Thanks for watching. Until next time.